Welcome to Rational Markets, your guide to understanding the financial markets in a way that's relatable, accessible, and actionable. I'm your host, Daryl Koo. Wealth inequality is not a new issue, but it has worsened significantly over the past decade and has become one of the defining challenges of our time. The root of this, at least in part, lies in financial literacy. Imagine playing a game where only half the players are given the rules. I imagine most people wouldn't even want to participate or engage in something like that, because who wants to play in a game where the odds are stacked against them? Especially if there's real economic consequences of losing, like, for example, not being able to pay rent. So this is how the financial markets feel like to millions of people. And this isn't about budgeting or saving. It's about understanding the rules of a system that affects us all, whether we like it or not. In a world where workers have less and less say relative to corporations and institutions, and where economic power is increasingly being used as a weapon, either on a national level with tariffs and other ongoing trade disputes, or at the individual level where first-time homebuyers are getting squeezed out of housing markets by private equity firms. These are just a few examples. Financial literacy is no longer a nice to have, in my view. It's actually a survival tool in the face of growing inequality, information asymmetry, and outsized institutional power. And so who am I? While this podcast ultimately isn't about me, I figure it's worth at least introducing myself. So I've been an investment research analyst for the past 15 years, covering mostly the energy, power, and infrastructure sectors. And I've worked with some of the largest institutional investors in the world. So think hedge funds, private equity funds, pension funds. These are institutions that manage hundreds of billions of dollars, and in some cases, trillions of dollars in capital. And so I've had the relatively rare firsthand experience in seeing how the capital markets work at the very top. And so while it's been an enlightening experience for me, it's been very rewarding to go on this journey to see how the pros, if you will, of the financial industry play the game. In other words, those with virtually limitless resources at their disposal, how they go about doing things. It's also revealed to me how unfair the markets can truly be for those without these resources. And so my goal with this podcast certainly is not to solve wealth inequality. I think that's a much deeper systemic challenge that's going to take quite some time to address. I do strongly believe that financial literacy has an important role to play, and that giving ordinary people at least some of the basic tools that the wealthy have put us on a much better path. And so my hope with this project is that the financial markets, investing, the economy, all of these seemingly vague concepts become just a little less intimidating to those who weren't born into these worlds. Knowledge is power, especially in the world of investing. So most of us have heard about the concept of compound interest, but I think there are very few places where its impact is as clear and as obvious as in finance. Even having basic knowledge and tools can significantly change our economic situations. It's really a form of agency. It's about empowering ourselves in a system that's increasingly being tilted towards those who are in the know. So the future of this podcast is still largely unwritten, but my plan is to have episodes focusing on key concepts in finance and economics, and to build on those concepts and try to make them more tangible using real-world examples. So ultimately, I want this podcast, this entire project, if you will, to be organic and conversational. So we'll adjust as necessary based on what's happening in the world, and as well based on the feedback from all of you. So I hope you all stay engaged. And the purpose of this is really to provide educational content that's practical and not financial advice. So having said all that, I hope you'll join me on this journey where we'll demystify the markets and try to put economic power back in the hands of individuals.